Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day number 299, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock California, 4 a.m. in Ukraine, and we're ready to roll tonight. Huge update. Probably, in my opinion, I could be wrong. Zhenya may disagree, but in my opinion, one of the top 5 days for new information, clarifying information since the war began. My opinion. Tonight, as we promised, we will be giving you the complete update on what I now call the Minsk Summit, because it was quite a day, and not just Putin, not just Lukashenko, but this was a massive day with lots of information unfolding. With that said, thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to support the efforts. 2 weeks from today, I will be heading that way. And of course, you will be with us along every step of the journey. So thank you. As always, thanks to our mods. I want to get Zhenya in here immediately because tonight he is powerless and running everything on battery. So do not want to waste or deplete his battery. So good morning to you, sir. Welcome.
Oh, good evening, and hello from Ukraine.
Batteries are looking good. So thank you.
Yeah, everything is good.
Real quickly, 15, 20 seconds here. You got a good report on your foot today at the doctor, or yesterday or today?
Yeah, this morning.
This morning.
Yeah.
Healing's going good?
Yeah. Yeah, he says everything is even better than it was expected. So praise God.
And I think a lot of people praying for you. A lot of people praying for you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. And I believe God is answering the prayers. Thank you.
Good.
And
healed and healthy.
Yeah, they said there is a questions. He said it looks like it was really terrible, but how it's possible to be, restored like that during a couple of days? He said it's quite interesting, but it's okay. He said, and then they changed the cast, the other one, the plastic. I don't know which material it was, but now he said, okay, 5-6 days, may try to step on this feet.
Awesome. We'll keep obeying them,
see.
And it's working. So very thankful for that. So let's jump to it. Last night when we were closing out the update, right when we were closing, you told everybody drones were in the air. Remember?
Yeah.
We were under a drone attack. They were flying. They had been spotted in Mykolaiv. And remind you, these are not super speeder. These are called mopeds. That's the slang. They just kind of slowly go along and try to avoid air defense. But unfortunately, Kyiv was struck. Kuleba came out, and it was Kuleba. He was late last night, the first one to tell the world that Kyiv was hit. 23 Shaheeds came at Kyiv. 18 were shot down. We did have a power infrastructure site struck. If you look there, there's just a photo of the fire raging, the firemen standing there. I have a green arrow pointing. You can see the electrical conductor as part of the system. Here's another firefighter in the morning doing his job. And there was a video released. I'll show this, then we'll get your thought on it. So you can see the fire heroes there working, and it's obvious, as Kuleba already told us, Klitschko and others now, that it was an electrical station hit. And as a result of that, today, Kyiv is struggling with power. I think right now, 20% of the city is without power. Immediately after the strike, there's a 50% drop in internet connectivity. So, tough day for Kyiv.
Yeah, tough day. And in the morning, I got a call from my mother-in-law. She said that it was kind of not easy night because some Shahed were close, and one was in there, quite close to their house, exploded. So she said, yeah, the night was not easy and a lot of explosions. So she said, we heard from our home a lot of explosions. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, it was 23 on Kiev, and our guys shooting down the 18. Yes,
Correct. 5
well,
hit.
yeah, and on Ukraine totally, it was 35 this night, and 30 was shut down. It means in the rest of the places, our guys were doing, because of the less quantity, our guys did 100%.
Well, it goes
The
with the
rest, not
strategy
Kiev.
that Russia is having to implement due to the skill of the Ukrainian soldiers, and that is we just have to overwhelm. So they put 23 at Kyiv and hope they can get
Mm-hmm.
some through. And that's what you've talked about in the past. Now, take a look at this picture released
Mm-hmm.
from December the 16th, Maxar satellite imagery. It's not perfect, but I basically outlined Ukraine. There's Crimea down at the bottom, and then Ukraine. You can see in the center. Let me pull it up here. Sorry. There. I basically outlined Ukraine, and it's not perfect, but close enough. You can basically see, other than over in the east, a little bit when Kyiv was lit up, a few little towns, very
Mm-hmm.
little. And once again, just look up to the top right, and that's Moscow glowing.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Ukraine's having to deal with, and they're dealing with it quite well.
Yeah, and okay, and
Yeah.
one more comment. You can see that picture.
Mm-hmm.
This is the dream of Russia. This is how they want to see all the neighboring country. If they are not with Russia, under Russian control, this is what make them happy. For this country will stay in the darkness.
And the only way they can put them in the dark is through terror.
Yeah, terror only.
So
Not
this is what we're dealing with. But what from the last major
yeah.
strike, as of yesterday, already 9 million power restored to. So Ukraine gets it done, man. They get it done. Now, many people have been wondering, is Ukraine hitting foreign or Russian targets? Today, they came out, and this was Vadim Skibitsky. He is the deputy head Ukrainian-made
Mm-hmm.
intelligence officer. He said, stop
Mm-hmm.
wondering. Yes, the armed forces of Ukraine carry out operations on the territory of Russia. Now, you and I knew that 3 months ago, talking to our buddy in the coffee shop who had been doing some of those operations. We knew it. But now, officially, Ukraine says, yeah, we're doing it. He stressed at the bottom that the targets are exclusively military facilities. These are the objects of the Russian armed forces from which strikes are carried out in Ukraine, including logistics centers, command posts, or garrisons with a large number of soldiers. The reason he clarified that, not only to let the world know that they're hitting military targets, but to also try probably to communicate to anyone that would think Ukraine is hitting these major malls in Moscow or other major civilian places that are burning down. He goes, we're not hitting those. We're hitting military targets. So you
Yeah.
glad you guys came out and said, yeah, we're doing it?
Yes, and I think it's fair enough to say that yes, Ukrainian armed forces fighting for Ukraine and stopping the possible threat of being killed for Ukrainians. But all of these fires in Russia, it doesn't mean that there is no inside resistance in Russia. There is no people who's trying as well to stop this bloody war, and
Of course
so
there
it's
are.
like it's not
Of course there
surprising.
are.
And so I think it just there is a logic in that. Like, and it's we are not happy like that when somebody struggles. No, but I'm absolutely crazy happy as much more factors will be rising up to stop Russian aggression. And if it needs if it be, needs for Russian, not Ukrainian, Russian, to fire 200 factories, for Russian president to understand that not 100% of Russians support that war. It just will make me happy because for me, it's a hope that much more kids will survive in Ukraine, much more families will survive. So yes, this is my attitude.
Well, if anyone was wondering, tonight you can have it answered. Yes, Ukraine is hitting military targets. In fact, a lot of information that I get comes from Israel, actually. Everybody gets sources from Great Britain and MI6 and their intelligence, Ukrainian intelligence. We get stuff from Russia, Belarus, but I get a lot of stuff from Israel. I got a couple of connections with the IDF where I get information that I can share. And I can tell you this right here. This is from Mossad, IDF.
Mhm.
Russian forces shot down 4 American anti-radar HARM, HARM missiles over the Belgorod region, Russia. This is from Mossad. And Mossad's commentary was this could lead to a crisis between the U.S. and Ukraine because the U.S. requested that these missiles not be used against targets in Russian territory. So, Ukraine, I think this goes back to what you said. We can't just let them keep firing at us. If we need to take out refineries, oil, planes, soldiers, garrisons, supplies, we've got to do it, and we can only work with the supplies and equipment that we have. But there was Mossad talking.
But it's the anti-radar systems. The harm is for, destroying that kind of systems. And if the question is quite simple. It's a border territory, and it was used. These radars there, it was used for killing Ukrainians. It didn't.
I agree completely.
Why? So the question is, what a question. Did we get to?
It's not a question. It's not a question.
Go check Mariupol.
It's not a question.
Not a question for me. Zero.
Israel is only saying that Ukraine doing a good job, but they're doing things that the U.S. asked them not to do. So it's just like Zelensky said a day or two ago. We're going to find out if Biden's a patriot or not. Where are the patriots at? So we're just getting to the place where there's a lot of pressure increasing. And now the United States, NATO, and other nations are going to have to step up, or this war is going to escalate even more as a result of what I'm calling the Minsk Summit today. Not only that, you ready for this? Moldova. We expect invasion in 2023. They came out today and said, we expect an invasion January or February, maybe March or April. We're a sitting duck, and there's nothing we can do about it unless we have partners and friends. So you've got Moldova saying that. Did you see that today?
No, sorry.
Moldova, right out of Kishinev, said, we're expecting it. You've got that. You've got Ukraine hitting targets in Russia. You've got Russia terrorizing Ukraine and killing everybody and committing genocide. You've got a war party that happened today in Minsk that we're going to break down for you. Now is the time. It's all I think even Israel was saying. Now is the time that NATO, U.S., and the allies are going to have to step up, or we're going to have a problem. I think it's a fair assessment, personally.
Yeah, but I think we need to remember, even like reading the news, it was like we just were talking before. Right at this moment, Ukraine has a lot of missiles, artillery systems, MLRS systems different kind of systems on the north border of Ukraine, on the north border with Russia, let's say. And does it goes there on the civilian people the same they're doing right now at Bakhmut, like at other places? I mean, no. Why Belgorod is? You can read. I mean, you can read. Check it. It's not occasionally. Every time the missiles going from that area.
I agree with you completely, and IDF is just saying.
Yes, I understand.
IDF is just saying it's going to be interesting into the American response into what we are reporting now. That's all they're saying. And I agree with them completely.
Yeah.
What is going to be the response? Let me ask you a question. Is there a patriot in your nation?
No, yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Have you received one item from Lend-Lease?
Never heard yet.
Zero. I'm not even taking time to share it today. Zero.
And when it was announced that the United States will give a Lend-Lease, and we had a hope like for the tanks, to airplanes. I mean, because it was comparing to the World War II. And in the World War II, at the second, it was the newest technology in the tanks, and so through that Lend-Lease.
Let me explain something to everybody viewing right now. This is what you're going to see on your news, and this is what you're going to see everywhere. Everybody's going to say, well, the United States is saving Ukraine money right now by not doing Lend-Lease and just giving them certain items as gifts. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. Thank you for that. I'm glad my country's giving that. But we need 100 times more, 500 times more. If we have one tank, we need 500. That's right from Zelensky. We need everything working. Gifts, Lend-Lease, partners, tanks from Germany, planes from Slovakia. We need everything. That's the point. And it's just going to be interesting to watch over the next week or so how all of this washes out, especially after what I call the Minsk Summit. Let's go to Mariupol, and then we're going to get to the key thing tonight. People always wondering, you know, it's like we had to educate the guy the other night on the stream, and he was I knew he was a U.S. Marine. I could tell by what he said in the text. But once we educated, he was very polite and kind and says, okay, thank you for explaining it to me. Folks, trust us. It's a war zone. Here's Mariupol. I think this is drone footage either yesterday or today. If that's not a war, I don't know what is. And they're just they've destroyed them, and now they're just leveling them. Gone. So I have a question for you when you see that. Many people, especially when we were covering Mariupol earlier, everybody out of Ukraine was reporting it could be up to 100,000 people that died in Mariupol. I think it is. I think it's a very, very high number, and time will tell. And how do we know that? Because when you see miles of buildings being just wiped away, and we know that many people could not escape Mariupol. They either had to be taken to Russia or they stayed. Very few were able to get out. Where are all those people?
And I think Russia will do everything to cover it.
That's exactly what they're doing.
We will not get the real picture until it will be deoccupied. When Ukraine will get control over, then yes, then the information and the rhetorics of Russia will be changed to, okay, all of these people are in Russia, and we are not obligate them to like share with them their location because we protect the people, blah blah blah. But the reality is that this is it was in the previous wars of Russia.
They
Hiding
are
numbers.
they are trying to cover everything up in Mariupol. That's a fact. And you just saw it. Well, let's get to the main topic tonight. I don't want to be too long with you. I don't want to take your battery power because we don't know when you're going to get back on, and it's cold tonight. So let's do this. Let's start right here. Steve Rosenberg from BBC tweeted out something very interesting. He put the dates starting in 21 and 22. Of course, he's using the Western system there. No, he's using European system, but dates second. Dates first, month second. And then the year. All the meetings between Putin and Lukashenko up to this point have taken place in Russia. Moscow, St. Petersburg, Sochi. And this is they've met quite a bit. But this is the first time that Putin has come to Minsk, to Belarus. He then writes, pattern broken. I wonder why. Well, Zhenya and I have worked very hard today to compile some video for you. I doubt very seriously that any of this video is being shown on mainstream media in the United States or other countries. So we have some statements from Lukashenko. We have statements from Putin. We have statements from Peskov. I have the plane arriving, Lavrov showing. Oh, I didn't want to say Lavrov. Give it away. I didn't want to give it away. Shoigu showing up. Oh, I didn't want to say Shoigu showing up. I didn't want to give it away. Yeah, it wasn't just Putin and Lukashenko. They all showed up. Here's a couple of the statements. Let's do this first, get your reply, and then we'll show the video. So, when they were giving their joint statement, and here's a picture of it, says live, upper left, that then says Minsk. So they're in the city of Minsk, Putin and Lukashenko. Lukashenko did most of the talking, actually. But he said, sanctions are not effective due to our cooperation. And you will actually see Lukashenko say this himself in a couple of moments, but Belarus received S-400 and Iskander supplies, complexes, or systems from Russia. They are put on combat duty, Lukashenko. First two statements. Thoughts on the sanctions and the systems?
Lukashenko was laying it out right in the beginning. It was like the continuation of the Putin's game of, okay, we will get it, and we are asking, but you have to remember that at the same time he was asking the Iskanders and S-400, he was mentioning nuclear weapon. You may check it.
Correct.
I mean, the same time he was mentioning, and we are asking Russia to locate their weapon, nuclear weapon, at our territory. And they're taking the position, and if you get back to Budapest Memorandum, when Ukraine were giving the nuclear weapon together with Belarus to Russia. And now
that's correct.
You see how, and now you see how it's going. Now
what about the sanctions?
Like, think about that.
What about economics?
Sanctions.
They said they're fine.
Yes.
They're fine.
Yes, because they can say, we're dying. No, they will be playing that poker face until the very last minute.
Okay, because, 2 words. What about S-400s and Iskanders?
S-400, oh yes. It's nothing. I mean, now my attitude is like it's nothing about the Finland and the NATO Finnish border. Nothing about that. Doesn't mean what they're telling about that. I'm sure it's for or threat or preparation for the attacking. This is the real
On Ukraine.
on Ukraine for sure.
Okay.
Not on Poland.
No, and he does say the West, but it has nothing to do with Poland. And we'll play the video in a minute. Let's go to this one. You were talking about nuclear weapons. Maybe it will happen this way, that they become nuclearized, if that's a word. If not, we just made it up. Belarusian pilots will be trained to fly aircraft equipped with missiles. This is from Putin. Putin said the United States uses this practice with its NATO allies. Therefore, we can do it with our allies. He stated that military cooperation between the two countries will intensify joint exercises, military industry, and production. If you're wondering where they're going to try to manufacture more supplies, it's going to be in Belarus. Unified air defense systems becoming a single defense space. I don't know how much closer you can get to becoming one army, but that's pretty close. Russia showed a modernized nuclear bomber called the White Swan. That's a picture of it. Russia intends to arm the Tupolev 160M with Kinzhal hypersonic nuclear missiles as part of the upgrades. This is all coming out of Minsk today. It's exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think
We'll
we should
see.
show?
We will see.
You think we should show everybody the video now?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
It's like-
let's
Yeah,
preface
let's watch.
everybody, because this is so good, and I don't know where else it's going to be shown, to be honest with you. So make sure you share, like, comment, tell people. If you want to know what they were saying today in Minsk, go look at this video or give it to them. So, couple of things, because you have to read the subtitles and try to watch. So you're going to see Putin arriving. You're going to see Putin take a piece of bread, dip it into some salt. Let me go here. And then eat it. What is that? What's that when he takes the bread?
It's a tradition of meaning that the country or like the site which receiving guest is receiving him with the peace and with the joy. It's a welcoming gift.
Okay.
Bread and salt.
How secure do you think Putin feels on that air base? And everybody's always worried, well, somebody's going to try to poison him. He doesn't eat anything. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't put anything in his mouth. He gets off the plane, takes the bread, puts it right in his mouth. He has a trust factor in that circle.
Absolutely, because the only way this trust factor comes from, it's under from his control over that place.
100%. Secondly,
and because yeah.
No, go ahead.
I mean, just check his visits to Saudi Arabia or I don't know, any country.
So what you're saying is he arrived in Minsk,
yeah,
but he's in control.
Yes, this is my thought. Absolutely,
I got it. See, folks, you get to watch our live conversations. That's why we can disagree on Mossad for a minute and now talk about this. I got you. In Saudi Arabia, he sits 50 feet away from somebody. In Belarus,
almost everywhere,
he's hugging Lukashenko. Okay.
Yes.
That's what he means. You're going to see Lukashenko make reference to his son. Remember this. This is very important. This could be the dictator in waiting. Putin says hello to him. You're going to see Lavrov arrive. You're going to see Shoigu arrive. You say, what? Hey, I didn't expect it either. I started getting all this video. Putin, Lavrov, Shoigu, they had a mass meeting today. Then you're going to hear statements from Lukashenko, Putin, and Peskov. Peskov making a joke about Zaluzhny, the general in Ukraine. You can see the arrogance in Peskov. You're going to see Lukashenko tell Putin how great he is, really. And Thank you for giving us the Iskanders. Thank you. And you see Putin doing this. Just watch when he says it. Putin's going like he is Peter the Great, and I've given you a present. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give this away. Do you know where Vladimir Putin is right now? Right this minute.
No.
Do you know where he went after the summit?
I have no clue. Sorry.
He went to Lukashenko's house to spend the night. Getting back to that close personal contact, friendship. Putin tonight spent the night at Lukashenko's house. All right, here it is. Take a look. We've prefaced you. Enjoy the watch, about 4.5 minutes we put together all day.
Уважаемый Владимир Владимирович, дорогие друзья, позвольте мне сердечно приветствовать вас, всех российских коллег в гостеприимной белорусской столице. В силу обстоятельств вы не были у нас достаточно давно, в общем, в этом составе, вообще министр с министром часто встречаются. Минуту, вы знаете, мы вдвоем соагрессоры, самые вредные, токсичные люди на этой планете. У нас только один спор, кто больше. Владимир Владимирович говорит, что я. Я уже начинаю думать, что он, вместе. Вот и все. А если кто-то думает нас сегодня разорвать, вбить.
Один украинский генерал заявил, что Москва готовит совместную с Белоруссией наземную операцию против Украины со стороны Беларуси. Именно для этого Владимир Владимирович приехал сегодня сюда, в Минск. Как бы вы прокомментировали, Сергей?
Как зовут украинского генерала?
По-моему, Заложный.
Заложный. Ему надо отдыхать от переработки.
И готовы дальше развивать этот проект, работать, блоки строить. Но что, на мой взгляд, самое важное, это то, что мы готовы и делаем это, создавать отрасль, готовить кадры национальные, развивать науку соответствующим образом. И такие договоренности предварительные у нас тоже есть.
Я благодарю вас, Владимир Владимирович, за то, что по всем темам мы нашли взаимопонимание, поддержку и приняли нужное решение. Особая вам благодарность, и не только от военных, за то, что вы выполнили свое обещание. Мы сегодня поставили на боевое дежурство комплекс С-400, который вы передали Беларуси, и самое главное, комплекс «Искандер», который вы также, пообещав полгода назад, передали нам. Вы только что затронули очень щепетильную, аккуратно затронули тему, но не мы ее, правильно, авторы по подготовке и тренировке наших экипажей, способных вести специальное вооружение и специальные боеприпасы. Должен вам сообщить, что мы подготовили самолеты. Оказалось, что у нас с советских времен такие самолеты есть. Мы тестировали их в Российской Федерации. Мы сейчас вместе с россиянами готовим экипажи, способные управлять этими самолетами, несущие специфические боеприпасы. Это не угроза кому-то. Я вам несколько раз и в Питере, и в Москве, и в Сочи, встречаясь, вас информировал, что у нас вызывает большие опасения, как вы сказали, напряжение по периметру границ союзного государства, прежде всего на Западе. И нам надо было бы обезопасить белорусское государство. Вы сделали решительный и очень важный шаг в поддержке Беларуси. Еще раз вам огромная благодарность.
Well, there you have it, folks. About 4.5 minutes of what happened today, as we were talking about even yesterday. Putin, Lukashenko, Peskov, Lavrov, Shoigu, and making jokes about being co-aggressors and Lukashenko trying to be funny. Who is the bigger aggressor? You say I am, I say you are. Putin gives him a little smirk. We thank you for giving us S-400s and Iskanders, and we're training pilots to fly nuclear missiles, but we're not a threat to anyone.
Yeah. No.
Did you expect this meeting today to kind of be this big? I personally think it's big because now it's very clear. They're one army, they're one land, they're one nation.
Mm-hmm.
They may have different borders and different presidents, but make no doubt about it. Vladimir Putin runs Belarus. We can confirm that today, period. He runs it. And he's sitting in the man's capital. And Lukashenko is thanking him. And he just sits back. Who runs it? The guy doing this. So it's confirmed. It's also confirmed, that Belarus has been training special in Russia for months and months and months. They're one. Going to have infrastructure the same.
Yeah. They said, yes, we will rise up the money economic flow between our countries up to 40 billions a year. That's a big money for Belarus.
Yes.
You understand? For Belarus, think about that. And yes, I think they're completely under the full control. And this visit was like a final line. It's like a conclusion, okay? For nobody would have any doubts about that. They are one, they happy. Lukashenko sharing with the people, hey, we discussed the weapons, we discussed everything, we discussed the unity, we discussed that we were doing right, and with a private eye-to-eye conversation, we decided even with the prices for economic, in economic field, like in energy area, energy. Yes, we discussed. Now we have agreement in everything.
Can I remind you of 3-4 weeks ago, the foreign minister was poisoned in Belarus?
Yeah.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And about maybe a month ago. And now here we are for the world to see. We're one. The thing that I think is interesting as we close out is they're very open, especially in the economic partnership. They're just going to run full factories there. Let's just be honest. They're going to be producing military equipment using Belarusian factories. And now I have a question for you as we close out. And I know the answer, but let's say now pick whatever city you want. Let's just pick one. Gomel, up north of Kyiv and Chernihiv. They start producing missile systems or tanks. Is that a target?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I hope that was the answer. Absolutely, it's a target. But you see how quickly that this action that happened today can escalate.
Because Russia were promising they respect the sovereignty the same way as Russia, but after the words, the Russia owns its lands. Have it. Russian soldiers who are bombing and killing Ukrainians are freely not just going there, but launching the missiles from Belarusian territory
Correct.
and using their airfields. The question and preparing the tanks and so the question, like, what a question. What Belarusia? Is it like Kazakhstan? No. Is it like Georgia? No. Is it like Armenia? No. These territories are being used by Russian terrorists to kill people in Ukraine.
We
It's
may
just
as
a
well
question
take
of
we
our
may as well take
commanders.
Bella off of Belarus and just call it Russia.
At this moment, yes.
Last thing for tonight. So, folks, there you have it. That's the update as we promised, and you've seen it. You can form your own opinions, but it's a pretty interesting day, and that's why I kind of called today personally. This is one of the top days in 299 days because this day really could affect some things if some of these things come to fruition, which we have no reason to think that they will not. Actually, you sent me this picture earlier.
Yeah, it's from Poland.
From Poland.
It's Christmas time.
Christmas time. You know, thinking about Ukrainian families. I'm assuming that's what this meaning.
Yes.
You have the family at the table and the long table extended for maybe a father and a son or a grandfather and a father sitting in a trench somewhere and just paying a tribute to the Ukrainians. And I think that's the way we close tonight. I'm sure all the guys will be in the chat saying, remember those that are in cold basements, cold bunkers tonight. And that's what Poland was trying to do here. So very, very good. All right, buddy. Thank you. I've been washing your socks all day and your long underwear. I'm not just going to bring you warm socks and stuff and it not be clean. It's going to be downy fresh. So I've been washing Zhenya's socks all day. We're loading him up, as you guys know. I showed you the boots the other night, but we got him some good stuff. So keep him warm.
Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. All right. Rest well. I don't want to keep burning your batteries.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, friends. And thank you to all who shares that news, who shares the truth, and who like putting the like button, pushing the like button for people with much more people would see it because then it goes to recommendations when
that's
it's
right.
active.
That's what the like button does. And it moves its recommendation.
Yeah.
And tonight's a really important one because I'm sure there's a few places on YouTube or other places, but maybe not where you can get that much video and translation on what happened in Minsk. So very good video to share. All right, buddy. Rest well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. A good night to all.
To all a good night.
Are you practicing your heart?
Yes.
I'm just watching him over here in the camera while the outro music's playing. He's just over here.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing.
You got it down.
I want to have a perfect heart.
There we go.